All right, so you have all your data on the heart rate project, and now it's time to make a graph. You can do it on paper, but I think you'll find it fairly easy to do using a spreadsheet, and I will show you how. In this video, I'm going to show you how to do it using Microsoft Excel, which you have access to through the Office 365. There's a link to it in Canvas. You may be able to access it either way. Okay, so here's your data set. One tip as you enter your data, I would probably recommend that you enter it one line at a time. You don't necessarily have to put in the date column, but let's say on a particular day you got 6 hours of sleep. I'm going to tab over, and your heart rate that next day was 68. The reason I recommend doing it that way is if you just enter everything down one column and then down the next column, they might get out of line, and then you're not going to know what's going on. And we got a full 8 hours of sleep, and the next day our heart rate was 63. So there's my data set. I got all 14 days. We're going to want this one to be a scatter plot, so I'm going to highlight all of this. I'm going to insert. I'm going to go to the chart types over here. I'm going to choose this one. That's a scatter plot. And I got that. Where do I want a line through it? Don't want those lines through it. Let's just choose that. All right. I got hours of sleep down here on the x-axis, and I got heart rate on the y-axis. There's a lot of ways I could modify this. One of the things I'm going to want to do is highlight and change this to be far more detailed. Something like that. Really nice and detailed. What else can I do here? I want to add axis titles. So there it gives it to me. Thought they would have put it in there, but I didn't luck out on that one. So this one is resting heart rate beats per minute. This one is hours of sleep during previous night. Hours. Now once I have that, I can do a couple of things with it. I probably want it a little bit bigger just so the quality comes out a little better. And then once that's all highlighted, I can either do Control C and just copy that, or I can do that thing where I do Windows Shift S. It's a little different on the Mac, but same sort of idea. I think it's Command Shift 4 or something like that. The other thing I might do here is on my data set, I could put in a trend line. I think this plus again, and it does have an option for trend line, so I can add that. It's right in there. I could even change the axes a little bit. There, if I double click on that axis, then it gives me some axis options. So instead of the minimum being 0 for heart rate, seems a little low because it's not going to get that low. Maybe I could make it 50. And for the sleep, I guess I needed to choose this axis. So I'm not getting anything less than 4. Let's maybe make that 3. Let's see what that looks like. There. That shows the trend a little more cleanly, so I could copy that and put it over. Okay, what about the other data set? So I put that in a separate sheet. We can see it here. So some good titles there. Actually, it's not resting heart rate, is it? It's the average resting heart rate, because those should be averages that you have calculated. There, now I should be able to highlight those, go up to the insert. This time I want one of these column charts. Nope, not a histogram. This one even previews it for you, and that looks pretty good. And we pretty much got the chart made. Same sort of thing. We won't add a trend line here, but we will want to add axis titles and modify our chart title to be a little more detailed. Same sort of idea. You might even want to, again, kind of go over here, double click on that axis. And for example, have the minimum heart rate be something like 50, just to emphasize the differences a little more. Otherwise, it looks like there's hardly any difference. And then, again, same sort of process for modifying that one. So there you go. That's the example in Microsoft Excel.